I think we've all been overwhelmed by social media one way or the other, either just from the sheer workload of it or from knowing what to post, when to post, why to post it, how to post it. I also think that sometimes just the continuous effort of putting out content and feeling like it's taking too long to get traction or to get seen or not quite getting the results that we want. I think those are universal feelings that everyone as a business owner has felt from one point or another in their business. And so, what I really want to share with you today is what you need to not only make just your social media, but your content in general work for you. And by work for you, I mean convert strangers into buyers, and how to do it without overwhelm, how to do it without it taking a insane amount of time or push or hustle or like consuming your day so that you can focus on other pursuits in your business and in your life. But then also how to actually get people talking about you and your message and what you do, because that's why we're here, right? I know, at least for me, I have a mission on my heart to share with the world. I want to get people talking. I want to get people paying attention. I want to get people noticing. I want to start conversations. I want to build community. I want to build collaborations. And it's frustrating to me when I can't do that. So I have a training that I'm gonna share my screen. I have some slides to share with you. We're gonna keep it pretty engaging, but I'm calling this social media that sells without overwhelm, because I think that's the key of what we really all want here. So let's break in and talk about exactly what we're going to cover in this training. And I kind of already hinted at it, right? So I'm going to give you the proven strategy for converting clients, even if you have a tiny, tiny audience. And I mean, I have converted, an insane amount of revenue for the size of audience that I have because of this method that I'm going to teach you guys today. And a lot of other folks have too, right? So it's not just like oh, Laura can do it, but you can't. I promise you can do it. It's not me. It's this method. I didn't even really come up with this method, which I'll teach you in a minute. How to eliminate social media overwhelm forever. So I feel like one of the things that stops people from really getting results is that it's just so overwhelming, and then that leads to inconsistencies. And consistency is so important in getting results. We're going to just eliminate that overwhelm forever so that you can stay consistent, so that you can show up for your mission and your purpose and your vision in this world and actually get results without it feeling like such a drain to you. And then we're going to talk about a simple strategy for getting people talking in just 15 minutes per day. So again, it's kind of this emphasis on like, how do we have maximum impact with like minimum like workload or pressure or added to our plate. All right, so why the heck should you listen to me? I'm going to keep this short and sweet. If you don't know me, I came up in this business as a direct response copywriter, which is a little bit of jargon, but essentially what it means is a master of conversion. And whether this makes you love me or hate me, I am the person who wrote the sales letters, who wrote the Facebook ads, who wrote the emails that got people to buy things, right? So I actually didn't start my career in social media. I wasn't the social media manager. I wasn't the person who wrote the about section for your website. I was the person who wrote the ad that got you to click to buy. And I actually think that that's like my secret advantage, I guess, if you will, or something, is that I didn't come into social media as a social media manager. So I didn't bring with me this like desire to like initially grow like a massive following. Not that I don't want to have a massive impact, because I absolutely do. But I wasn't looking at like initially followers and engagement numbers and impressions and reach and likes. I was looking at conversions, which made me do social media in a different way, because I had different goals. And that's one of the things that copywriters and conversion copywriters and direct response copywriters do differently than I would say social media managers or just most business owners. As I would say, most social media managers and most business owners are posting because that's just what you do. You post to post. You post today because you're supposed to post today. copywriters, and I think just specifically direct response copy, we have a goal, right? We write a subject line because we want you to open the email. We're writing an email to get you to take an action to buy. We write an ad to get you to click. We write, a sales letter to get you to buy. We always know what the purpose is. And I think that is really what's different about my approach. So that's one thing. Number two, I'm not somebody who's like to try to talk about how much money I've made or anything like that. So I don't want you to read into this. This isn't me bragging. What it is me telling you what I did it's more me highlighting the value of this system. So it's not me being like, oh, I'm so great. Obviously, some people get way better results, but it's me saying like, look, I know that this system gets results because not only have I seen it with other people, not only do I know that it's already a proven system before that I didn't even make up, but I've done it for myself. And I think that there's integrity in saying like, this isn't just something that I learned and then I taught. It's something I learned and I did, and now I'm teaching. So I built a 6-figure business in 6 months using what I'm going to teach you. And earlier this year, I did 6 figures in 6 weeks. So I made $100,000 in 6 weeks. Now, I do want to say that I don't do that every 6 weeks, but using this very system, I did do that in 6 weeks this year. And then I think this is the one that I'm actually most proud of, if I'm to be completely honest here. And that is that I consistently post every single day without feeling overwhelmed. And I invite you to follow me on social media. I am most active on Facebook on my profile, and second on TikTok, second most active on TikTok. And in both of those places, I post every day, sometimes multiple times a day on TikTok, every day, multiple times a day on Facebook. So some days I'm posting 5 to 8 times a day on Facebook, and I'm never, ever, ever overwhelmed. And that's because of this system. And then I'm not saying that you need to post 5 to 8 times a day. Don't mishear that. What having this has allowed me to do is love doing it. And I hope that that's what it does for you. Even if it makes it tolerable for you to do it, I'll accept it. But I hope that it makes you love doing it as much as I do. And you'll get to the place where you want to show up that much all the time. All right. So let's introduce the posting for profit sales cycle, which is what I call this first part of this system that I'm going to be teaching you today. The posting for profit sales cycle is based on well-known marketing and psychological principles. So I told you that this is not something that I've made up. Right? This is not a Laura's thing. Laura's framework is the posting for profit sales cycle, but it's based on well-known. I've just taken well-known research and actually made it something that's easy to apply and implement. It's more like the applied version of the research. What it is it's the journey that people go on every time they buy. This is the journey you went on the last time you made any kind of purchase, the last time that you bought curtains for your living room, the last time that maybe you bought a microphone for a podcast, maybe you enrolled in a coaching program. This is the journey you actually have been in. So you have done this journey many times. And as we go through it, you can resonate with it. And this is the same thing that your buyers will go on when they buy from you. So let's talk about what that journey is. And this is more from the research side of things. We'll get to the applied side of things in just a minute. So we know, and this is again, when I say we know, I mean based on billions of dollars of marketing research and application. So this isn't like, I don't use the word proven lightly, right? Because very little in this world is proven. But I feel like when you've got billions of dollars, meaning huge corporations, huge research institutions have invested so much money in understanding the process that people go on when they buy. And this is it, right? So it's attention, interest, desire, action. These are the 4 steps that you go on every time you make a purchase. So it starts with something getting your attention. So you notice something. Maybe if you think about your last purchase, think about like, maybe, and I love this for like a coaching program. When did that person get your attention, or or maybe that program get your attention? Think about that, and just kind of like put that in your mind. Or if you don't, think of a coaching program, think of something else that you recently bought. Like I said, it can be a microphone, it can be your curtains, it can be a lamp that you bought, whatever it is. It doesn't really matter because it's true for everything. It can be my last vacation. I went to Alaska this past summer, and I absolutely remember the first time it got my attention. So we're going to start thinking about this. So think about how maybe you could create content that was specifically designed to do this first step, to grab attention and to deeply engage them so that they start to become curious about what they do. Since you know that this is the first step that they're going to take, what if you started intentionally helping them take that first step? And we're going to go deeper into that. But just kind of as an introduction thought exercise, just start letting that marinate in your mind. What if you could do that intentionally to like kick off this process? Okay. The next step is to generate interest. So again, think about the last thing that you bought, right? Like when the Alaskan cruise got my attention, then I started to get interested. I started to want to learn more about it. I hadn't decided that I wanted to go. And I definitely hadn't like pulled out my credit card. But I was interested. I was exploring, the different stops of the cruise, and I was, kind of reading about it, maybe looking up a few things online. Sorry if that made a weird noise. I hit my mic. And so I was interested. And so think about this with your buyers, right? They want to learn about you. They want to learn about what you value. They want to learn about what you do. They want to learn about your brand. They're seeing if it's a potential fit for them, just like I was with my cruise, just like I was with the coaching program that I'm in now. I did this very same thing. It really doesn't matter what you buy. And it happens even on smaller purchases, but just much faster. Okay. Next, we're going to talk about the next step that happens is desire. We get desire, we stimulate desire. It switches from I like to I want, or I'm interested in to I want. So that's the moment that, back to my cruise, that's the moment that I went from, I'm kind of interested. Like, I want to check out those things. I want it to like, I really want to do this with my family. This is what I want to do for my trip this summer, right? And same thing with my coaching program. It's like it went from like, gosh, I think this could make sense. Like maybe I remember the coaching program I'm in now. I'm in a mastermind, and I remember the evening before I joined, and this was even before the evening before the coach made the pitch, right before I was invited to join. I remember I was like looking it up because I knew that the program existed. And I was looking it up online to see if I could like scope out the details and the information. That was like my interest stage. And then I had this moment where I was like, God, like, I really want to join that. Like I remember hitting this moment. Maybe you remember that the last time you made a purchase too. I want you to just think about that. Let that marinate. And then action, right? There's always that moment where we actually take action, right? We actually whip out our credit card or click on the PayPal button or whatever. We take the thing, we sign our name to the contract, whatever. We actually take the physical action. And we need to think about that too with our clients and with our audience. Like, are we giving them the opportunity to act? Because I can tell you from experience that most people are not actually calling their audience to action, right? They're not actually making the invitation to work with them. And so that's a really important step too. So now you guys know, like, it's so simple, but this is like this crazy powerful underpinning research and philosophy and strategy and proven system over time that we know, okay, we know that everyone goes on these 4 steps every time they buy anything. Now, how do we apply that to our content, right? So, and I say this, I'm kind of gotten ahead of my slide here, but so if we know, if we know the buyer's journey, which we just talked about, why aren't we intentionally guiding our audience through it? That's my question. And this is what's so frustrating to me about when I hear other people teaching social media, and when I hear other people teaching content, and when I hear other people teaching conversion, is this isn't a mystery. Like, I don't need to make up how people buy. We know how people buy. I don't need to come up with, I've heard these like weird, like, oh, you're going to have 5 different pillars of content, and you're going to do one educational post and one entertaining post. And I kind of want to be like, okay, you can do that. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm not saying that, having these complex content calendars doesn't work. If your goal with your social media is impressions and reach and engage, and not that I don't want those things, but why would you prioritize those things when you can prioritize conversions? And we already know what creates conversions. We already know the buyer's journey. We already know what moves people from stranger to buyer. We know this journey. So why would you prioritize anything else above that? Why wouldn't you just focus on that? Like, it boggles my mind that people are sitting over here overcomplicating it and like developing all of these frameworks that maybe did work for them and maybe didn't. But it's like a lot of times way harder, way more work, and yields way less important results quicker than these results create conversions. So if I can speak. Anyway, it just doesn't make sense to me. And this makes sense to me. Why wouldn't we follow the journey that we know goes on? And starting today, that's exactly what I want you to do. It just makes sense that you would run your social media in a way, and this isn't just your social media, your email content, whatever, but you would run your content in a way that proven by billions of dollars, converts strangers into people who have gotten, who you've attracted their attention, you've gotten their interest, you've generated their desire, and you've gotten them to take action. That's a process. So starting today, we're going to base our activity on that approach, which is where the posting for profit sales cycle comes in. It is the simple, repeatable system for moving people along that buyer's journey. So we know the buyer's journey. The posting for profit sales cycle is the system for moving people along that buyer's journey. So let's get into it, right? Let's see, how do we actually do this thing now? The first step is first of all, back up. Laura, I'm referring to myself in third person. Laura is a former actress. I've done community theater, I've done college theater, I've done professional theater. So Laura thinks in terms, I don't know why I'm talking in third person, but I think in terms of theater. And so the story that we're telling as we go around this circle, I'm pointing like you can see my hand. The story that we're telling is one where you can see my mouse though, where we audition, right? We're like trying out for our audience's attention. And then we get the yes, right? We got their attention. Now they're interested in us, right? They're like, yeah, I'm interested in that. I'm interested in you. I'm interested in your business. I'm interested in what you do. Yes, 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 right? Then what's the next thing that happens when you're going for a part? So you auditioned, you got the part, and then they shine a spotlight on you so everybody can see you and how amazing you are and how brilliant you are and how special you are. And then they say action, right? Or they raise the curtain and it begins. And so I framed this in a story to make it super, super easy for me to remember. So I call this first step audition content. And that's that. And remember, the first step is attracting attention. So we attract attention, and we're going to get into that deeper. Then the I call it yes content. That's where they say, yes, I'm interested. And we use that to generate interest. And then there's the spotlight content, which is where we're shining that light, right, on what you do. So that's that stimulating desire. The way that we're stimulating that desire is by shining a light on what makes your work unique and special and different and better than all of the others. What makes it stand out? What's unique about it? and then action. We're actually inviting them to work with us and making those calls to action. Let's go deeper into each of these. So the audition content. The goal of the audition content is, of course, to grab attention. We talked about that. That's the first step in that buyer's journey that we know about. And we also want to grow our audience here, because even though my focus when it comes to social media isn't constant audience growth, likes, impressions, vanity metrics, right? I want conversions. It starts with audience growth, right? It starts with having people to sell to. It starts with getting attention in the beginning. So I don't think that should be our only focus, but we do need some people steadily coming in all the time. The way that we do this is by using trendy, newsworthy, or polarizing topics. And these can be trendy as in, actually doing trends. They can be trendy as in, trending in popular culture. They can be newsworthy either in a mainstream way, like actually in the news, like, the death of somebody famous, or a major, world event happening. But it can also be newsworthy, like in your niche. So, if you're marketing, it could be, a trend in marketing or something that's happening in marketing. Just as an example, one of my successful audition posts came out when Facebook came out with the @everyone feature, where you can @everyone in your groups. But that was trendy and newsworthy in the world of marketing, even if it wasn't necessarily a trendy or newsworthy topic mainstream. I do, however, if you go look at my TikTok, have many videos where I have created audition content that I'm using a mainstream trending topic, a celebrity's name, something like that, to grab attention. Polarizing topics are always great, right? You're taking a stand for or against something. All of those grab attention, and they bring that flow of people to you. Just make sure that you're speaking to your best clients here. So this isn't attention for the sake of attention, meaning you probably don't want to post something like completely off topic. It can be about a celebrity or something that happened in the mainstream media, but tie it back to what you do. So, an example of this, I think one of my best performing TikToks, I broke down the charisma of Marilyn Monroe, right? And I told a story of Marilyn Monroe's charisma. And so while Marilyn Monroe herself, maybe seems off topic for me, charisma as somebody who helps visionary leaders get their message out in a bigger way and convert more ideal clients, charisma is an important topic of that, right? So it is a part of what I do. It's tied back to my person, right? All right, yes content. So this is that second step in that buyer's journey, and this is the one that's all about generating interest. And so the yes content is all about building rapport and also getting them to raise their hand and literally say yes. It's part of why I call it yes content. So in this stage, we want them to we want to use calls to actions like, does this sound like you? Let me know in the comments. So they're saying yes. Does this resonate with you? Let me know in the comments. Do you agree? Let me know in the comments. We want to say things like that, because what we really want is, when I say build rapport, we want to speak to the emotions, the values, the pain points, the desires, those kinds of things of our best clients. And we want to say, does this sound like you? Does this resonate with you? Do you agree? We want them to say, yeah. That does a couple of things. Number one, they're feeling very connected with us because, man, they really share my values. They really understand my problems. They really understand my desires. So it's building that like connection, but it's also creating a little bit, and I warned you that I was a conversion master. It's creating those little micro yeses, right? So that's a powerful psychological tool where you're getting people to say yes. And they're like practicing saying yes to you, so that by the time you invite them to come work with you, it's so easy and habitual for them to say yes to you. And we want them to do that, because ultimately you're going to change their life and transform it and make and help them live better. So That's all in their service also. All right, let's talk about spotlight content. This is the third step. This is the one that's all about desire or stimulating desire. So it's moving that I like to I want, or I'm interested to I want it, right? This is the moment that I decided I wanted to go on my cruise, right? And the way that we do this is by building belief that our way is the best way, right? And so what we do is we actually focus, we have them focus on our new way of solving their problem. Everybody who's in business solves a problem, right? I promise if you're in business, you solve a problem. You may not be as clear as you ought to be on what problem you solve, but you solve a problem and you solve it in a unique way, right? You solve it different than other people solve it. So let's say you are a health coach, and let's just say for fun, or the sake of discussion, that you help people lose weight by adopting a whole foods plant-based diet. That would be the way that you do it differently. So in your spotlight content, it would be all about why a whole foods plant-based diet is the best way to lose weight, why it's the healthiest way to lose weight, why it's the most satisfying way to lose weight, why blah, 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 blah. And I don't know. I'm obviously not a health coach, but I'm just, giving you an example. Let's say you are a business coach and you believe that hosting nurture events is the absolute key to growing your business, right? And that's the main piece of what you teach and what you do. So you're going to say, the best way to grow your business is nurture events. It's not through cold DMing, it's not through cold calling, it's not through spending crazy amounts of time building social media audiences. It's through nurture events, right? If you were a relationship coach and you believed that the best way to improve a relationship was through daily communication, some sort of daily communication activity, right? So it'd be, oh, you need a daily communication ritual, right? The problem with most relationships is they don't communicate. They maybe have a date night, they maybe go on vacation once in a while, but they don't have a daily communication ritual. Here's that. Maybe you teach people how to invest in real estate and you teach them to flip contracts. You tell them, oh, the best way to get into real estate is to flip contracts, right? So you're basically saying my way of doing this thing is the best way to do it. I always say, whenever you make a sale through marketing and copy, you make two sales. First, you sell them on the way you solve the problem. That's what we're doing in spotlight content. And then you sell them on your actual offer that gives them that way, right? That gives them that opportunity. So in spotlight content, our goal is to almost give them a perspective shift or an insight or like a belief change that our way is the best way. And so that's what you want to do in this type of content. All right. My very favorite is the action content. This is where we get to make all of the money. Not all of it, but most of it. And this is where we invite people to actually work with us. And this is missing from a lot of people's content plans. And it's so important, right? Because people want to be led, especially if they're hiring a coach or a mentor or a healer, or they want somebody who is going to be that expert in their life, who's going to lead them, who's going to tell them what they should do next, right? Who's going to guide them and be that trusted leader, that trusted advisor, that trusted mentor, that trusted guide. And the first step of being that is inviting them to take action, to do it. They have to take action and you get to invite them to do that. And that's very exciting. So that can be inviting them to a sales conversation, inviting them to DM you, reply to an email, to book a call, right? It can be a lot of things, how you're calling them to action. My invitation for you is that you tell them the name of the offer that they're reaching out for. So, DM me for more information about XYZ program, right? That sort of thing. I'll give you all of the details. If you have any more questions, we can hop on a call and then ultimately we'll decide what's your best step your best next step forward together, whether it's the XYZ program or not, right? Something like that. So they know exactly what they're reaching out for and what's going to happen once they do. All right. So let's review this whole posting for profit sales cycle again. We're going to start by sharing audition content that attracts new people into our space. We're going to then share yes content that gets them to get to know us and our values and shows them that we understand their problems and shows them that we understand their desires, and then literally ask them to say yes. Does this sound like you? Yes. Does this resonate with you? Yes. Right? Do you agree? Yes. Right? Then we're going to shift into spotlight content where we're literally shining a spotlight on, maybe not literally, but you know what I mean, shining a spotlight on what is so special about our way, what's unique, what's better about our way of solving their problems. And then action content, we're inviting them to take action. Now, I know what your next question is going to be. When do I? It's so simple. If you are just starting out with this, I recommend you share one of these per week. So you have 1 week a month that's audition content where your whole goal is attracting new people to you through trendy, newsworthy, or polarizing content. Then the next week of the month, you're doing the yes content where you're building that rapport and you're getting them to say, yep, that's me. That sounds like me. I'm into that. I believe in that. I stand with you on that. And then the next week of the month, you're sharing that this is what's better about my way. Oh, you may have thought that, the answer was keto, but it's not. It's whole food, plant-based, whatever, So giving them that little insight or perspective shift or belief building content. And then the last week of the month that, hey, I have three spots to work with me on this thing. And that invitation to work with you. And so you run this 1 week every month. So you would run the whole cycle every month. As soon as you get to the action content again, you go right back to audition content and you keep going round and round and round and repeat this every single month after month, forever. You have a system. As you become more advanced and get more practiced at it, you may choose to run it at a different interval. So you may choose to say, spend one day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe Friday, you share a testimonial and then you repeat it, right, the next week. And so you're running this every single week instead of every single month. That works particularly well if you have lower priced offers. Maybe you keep it at 1 per month because you have higher priced offers and you're running nurture events and it just makes sense to do that. But later, as you move along and become more advanced, you can customize it for your particular business and your particular offers. But I think to start out, running it on a month by month schedule, right, where each of these is a week, is easiest because it gives you time to practice each of the steps without having to switch constantly. So that is how you are going to move people throughout your buyer's journey from stranger to buyer all the time consistently. All right. Still with me? Because I really want to deliver on my promise to also help you eliminate social media overwhelm. This part's going to be so much faster now that you have the biggest part of for social media overwhelm is like what to post, when to post, why to post it. We've already solved all of that. Now we're just going to make the process of creating the content super quick and easy because I have a magic formula. And and by the way, these spell magic. That's why it's called the magic formula. Make, assemble, get, identify, and complete magic. So you're going to make your hooks first. Step 1. Step 2, assemble, copy with post frameworks. Step 3, get your posts in your bank. We're going to talk about that. Step 4, identify your post format. And step 5, complete posting or scheduling. Let's dive in. We're going to get through these very quickly. Bear with me. You guys are troopers. So number 1, make your hooks first. A hook is just that thing that gets people's attention on the post. So no matter what type of post is. I know we have one type, audition type, that's focused on getting attention, but on all of them, we need to get somebody's attention enough for them to read the post, right? So this is your hook. This is your headline. This is that thing that gets people to keep reading. And the hardest way to write a post is from start to finish. And so what I want you to do is I want you to start by just planning your hooks, just your headlines if you like the word headline better. But what are just those first lines of all of your posts? These will also determine the topics of your posts usually. So let's just plan those. Like just plan, if you know you're going to post 7 days a week, just write down 7 hooks, 7 headlines. If you need help, I'm going to give you a place where you can get 292 hook templates. So this will make that super easy. You can just go to my hook templates. You can just pick one. Done, done, done. All right, let's move on. Then I want you to assemble. So I always say that great copy isn't written, it's assembled. So you're going to assemble it with frameworks. Copywriting frameworks help create content faster. So I have a bunch that I teach for free. I have them on my YouTube channel. I have them on my Facebook. I have them on my Instagram, although I'm not there very often. Have them on my TikTok. If you need help finding them, send me a message. Happy to give you some. But use a simple framework, or maybe you know of some. Use a simple framework that's just like, okay, I know that every single time I post, I'm going to do one of mine is 4 S's. Struggle, solution, soul, sell. I'm going to do it every time. It's going to make it so fast to get my post together. Another really big pro tip is to set a timer to eliminate overthinking, right? Say, I'm going to write this post in 6 minutes and actually set a timer, right? Or 5 minutes, set a timer. Don't write and edit at the same time. So these are kind of some tips. So there's this quote that says, write fearlessly and edit ruthlessly. So write your whole post and then go back in and edit it if you want to. Do not, whatever you do, write a little bit and then backspace and then write a little bit and then backspace, because you're kind of switching what parts of the brain you're using, and you're actually making your work, you're actually being much less efficient, right? So that's what's so powerful about the timer, is it kind of forces you to just write and then you can go back in and edit. And creating a writing ritual that you enjoy. So this is another tip that works really well. We can condition our brain, right? You may know that there was a psychologist who conditioned dogs to salivate at the sound of a bell, because he would ring the bell and then he would feed them, and pretty soon he would just ring the bell and they would salivate for food, right? So he conditioned them to think, oh, bell means food. We can do that to our brain. So I did this when I was first growing my business, is I would like light this particular candle when I sat down to do my writing, right? And so I knew my brain would know, like, oh, candle, writing time. And then if you've never been in that like flow state where it's just writing's easy and you're just flowing and that would happen much more often and much faster for me, because I had conditioned my brain to do that. I had a client once who would put a little chocolate on her keyboard, and she would get out of bed in the morning and go write, and it would help her feel motivated to get out of bed in the morning and go write, because she knew there was a chocolate on the keyboard for her, and it conditioned her brain. So think about, it can also just be something you really enjoy, right? Like maybe sitting in a favorite chair with your favorite warm beverage and you start to look forward to it. That can really change your vibe around it. So those are just some tips that can help you kind of move towards assembly versus like the pressure of having to sit down and write from scratch. All right, fantastic. Let's keep going. So the G in our magic formula is to get your posts in the bank. So I want you to practice getting your posts in a bank even before you ever post them, because repurposing, recycling is the absolute key to eliminating social media overwhelm forever. Because once you have a full bank, you're not having to create 7 posts a week if you want to post every day. Maybe you're only writing 1 or 2 posts a week, but you're still posting every day because everything else is coming from your bank, right? So you've got to start building up your bank. For my bank, I've tried so many tools. I have a free one in Notion. If you're techie or like Notion, absolutely, just let me know. I can get that to you. I personally have gone back to, I built that one in Notion, and then I went back to, I've had them in Trello, I've had them in Asana. I've gone back to a simple like Google Sheet for because I just like the low techness of it. But whatever works for you, have an organized, you can have folders in a drive. Have an organized storage system for your content that's not just random docs all over your Google Drive, right? Or random documents all over your computer drive. Have an organized place where you're banking your content, putting them to be reused and recycled. And you can reuse and recycle them, every six, when you start out, you'll be recycling them more frequently, right? So maybe the first time you recycle a post, it's only 4 or 5 months after you wrote it. Now, when you're me and you've been doing this for years and years and years, and you have like 5 or 6 years worth of content in a bank, I may only recycle a post like once every 2 years, right? Like it can go a very long time before I have to recycle a post because I have so much. In the beginning, you may be recycling a post every 6 months, right? But by the time you get to 12 months, you should be about to the place where you could post once or, write 1 to 2 new posts every single week. Everything else comes from your bank. So it really eliminates the overwhelm very fast. All right, let's move on to the I, identify post format. So this is just how you're going to post it, right? So you can post it as, just the copy or the written text with a single image or with a graphic. You can use it as a video script, like a TikTok or a Reel script. So you can use your writing as a script, or an Instagram carousel if you know what those are and make those. If you don't worry about it. But keep it simple for you. But here's my little hack. It can be all of the above. So a lot of times the first time that I make a post, I make it as a written post, right? And maybe I use a selfie, or maybe I just post it just as text on Facebook, or I rarely make graphics because I'm not into graphic design, but I'll just post it that way. Then the next time when I go to repurpose it, maybe 4 or 6 months after I've shared it as the written post, or sometimes even the next day if I'm totally transparent. I use it as a script to make a video. So I'll post it as a written post, and then I'll literally read it, in an engaging way, and I'll use it to make a video. And then maybe I will make a graphic or a carousel or something like that for Instagram. And so out of that one piece of content that I wrote, I'm actually getting multiple posts out of it because I'm just changing the format. So that's kind of a fun little hack to build your content bank really fast because you're turning it into multiple posts. Then you're going to do the last part, which is either to post it or schedule it. And either one is perfectly fine. You can either post it directly to the platform or you can schedule it to the platform. Either one is perfect. Just so you know, Meta has a free scheduling tool that you can use. So Meta, being the company that owns Facebook and Instagram, has a free scheduling tool that will allow you to pre-schedule content to Facebook pages, like business pages, and Instagram. Facebook profiles that are in professional mode also allow you to schedule to your profile from a mobile device. If you have questions on how to do that, feel free to send me a message. I have a video that walks you through it. So you can schedule to, and you can schedule to Facebook groups too. So Facebook and Instagram, you can pre-schedule if that makes it easier for you. You certainly don't have to. But I would say post directly from your content bank. I do recommend in your content bank, keep a last reused on date, right? So if I reused something just today, I'm going to put that date on it so that I know I reused it today, so that I can just make sure that I don't reuse it again too soon, that it's at least been 4 to 6 months, as you go along, 12 months before you recycle that post. Okay. Now, so we have talked about how to convert people from strangers to buyers by taking them along that journey. We have talked about how to eliminate social media overwhelm for good. We are on our last section. You have been awesome, which is how to get people talking. And this is going to be super, super quick because I have another easy peasy formula, and it's my 5C simple engagement routine. So step 1, this is basically the engagement that you're going to create on your profiles. Is going to get people engaging and talking and responding and collaborating. And you're going to feel like you're having this awesome conversation all the time. And it's not just like posting into a void, right? we're going to make sure that that doesn't happen to you. So step one is you're going to continue the conversation in this comments. That basically means reply to the comments. But when I say continue the conversation, is I say it that way to get you to look for opportunities to continue the conversation. So if you say, ask a question like, oh, what's one of your favorite activities to relieve stress? And somebody types horseback riding. Instead of just replying with like oh, cool, reply with, how long have you been riding, right? Ask questions, get to know them, build a relationship, right? So that's why I say continue the conversation. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes they've just dropped an emoji and it's very difficult to continue the conversation when all they've done is drop an emoji smiley face. But when you can, continue the conversation in the comments of your posts. Comment on their last post. So one way to have a back and forth conversation with somebody to build a mutual relationship is to ask them questions when they ask you questions, right? If you've ever, I feel like I'm like teaching you how to be human. Whenever we're in a conversation with each other and you ask me, do I have any siblings? I might tell you the answer, and then I might say, do you have any siblings? Right? I'm going to take the conversation back and ask you. And if I never did that, if I never ever came back and asked you about you, you would probably stop liking to talk to me, right? Same thing is true on the internet. So if somebody's coming over and commenting on your posts, one great thing that you can do is go comment on their most recent post, right? They've come in and engaged with you, asked about you, gotten curious about you. You can go get curious about them. So it's very easy. You just click on their profile, go to their profile, comment on their last post so that becomes a back and forth strengthened relationship. Step two, collaborate with a potential collaboration partner. These are people who serve your ideal clients, but in a slightly different way than you. And so, for example, for me, I serve visionary entrepreneurs. I serve online entrepreneurs who have a mission, who have a vision. But I don't do web development for them. I don't do business coaching for them. I don't do fitness training for them, right? There's so many people who serve those same people, but in a different way that I can collaborate with. So I want you to connect with one of those people because those are the best people to help you grow your audience. And if you can build real friendships with those people, it will be the most magical thing that ever happens to your life because you will have the best of friends who also help you grow your business. All right. Step 4 is to connect with a yes client or a best client or an ideal client. Connect with somebody who appears to be at least a potential ideal client for you. Somebody who, from what you can tell from social media, would probably be an ideal client for you. And when I say connect with them, I just mean comment on one of their posts, like one of their posts, send them a simple message that says, hey, I was thinking of you, right? It's super easy. Last step, this whole thing should only take you about 10, 15 minutes tops, is complete what I call a daily intentional scroll, which is where you mindfully, right? Not mindlessly scrolling, mindfully kind of scroll down your feed and like some posts, comment on some posts. If you see somebody that doesn't belong, you can unfriend or unfollow. If you see somebody who really sticks out to you, you can send them a message, but it's just, you're taking 2 minutes, and just kind of scrolling your feed very intentionally, not going crazy. You can do this. You can get on social media. You can do this in 15 minutes. You can get off social media and you can be done. Now, I did promise you a couple of resources, so I'm going to tell you exactly where to get them. By going here, unstoppablevisionary.com, you will see this page and you will enter your email here. That's where you will subscribe to my newsletter. But in the first email that I send you, you will get 292 hook templates to make those hook creations very easy. You'll also get 67 of my best subject lines. So if you think you may be sending some emails out sometime soon and want to get them opened, that will help you with that. You'll also get 33 pre-written engagement posts to kind of start getting the ball rolling on getting your people talking and building engagement. So all you have to do again is go to unstoppablevisionary.com and put in your email, hit subscribe, and you will get those things. It has been my honor and my pleasure to be with you today. Thank you so much.